Hey there, VCHHD students. My name's Andy. I'm a VC Health and Human Development teacher. This short video, we're looking at the VCAA 2025 HHD sample exam, question number 5, suggested sample answers. This is relevant for Unit 3 and 4 HHD for the 2025 plus HHD study design. Before we dive into this video today, just a reminder, there's lots of ways you can engage with Health Resources Hub. If you're on YouTube at the moment, you can subscribe with a button in the bottom corner of the video there, and that means you'll get alerts to all of our new videos as they come out between now and the end of the year, especially in the lead up to HHD exam this year. We've got our website, thehh.net.au, where there's opportunities for HHD students and teachers, so please check that out. Also got our Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook pages where you can follow us and get alerts to our new videos and other opportunities, and also our email, info@hhd.net.au, if you'd like to get in touch. Also, before we dive into this video, just a reminder, we have some new Unit 3 and 4 A+ course notes and practice questions available via our website. So if you're after some course notes that cover all the aspects of Unit 3 and 4 HHD, it's got all the relevant glossary terms that you need to be on top of, as well as the concepts you need to be across for Unit 3 and 4 in the lead up to the exam. You can head to our website. There is a student drop down, and you'll see there is access to this page here where you can fill in the form, and then we can be in touch with how you can get access to our course notes and practice questions for Unit 3 and 4. Okay, so you can see here question 5 from the sample exam this year was worth 6 marks. And so it started there with some information that mentioned that according to the United Nations Development Programme report for 2023-24, in 2022, Australia had a HDI of 0.946, while Papua New Guinea had a HDI of 0.568. So then the question was, evaluate the usefulness of the HDI in providing a measure of the level of human development in a country such as Papua New Guinea as compared to Australia. So obviously a couple of things to note here. This is a 6-mark question, and I think there has been a bit of an uptick over the last few years in the number of 6-mark questions in the HHD exam. So it's definitely something to make sure you've practiced in the lead up to the exam this year. You'll see that at the bottom of the question in the sample exam, it mentioned that this style of question would be marked using a rubric. And so that means a couple of things. That means typically the way that your answer will be evaluated by examiners is holistically. They won't necessarily be looking for 6 individual things. And so this is probably similar to the way that essays are marked in a subject such as English. Okay, so holistic marking using a rubric. And so that means there's different ways, okay, that students can write responses to achieve the amount of marks that's allocated for that particular question. But obviously you should be focusing on what the question is asking. So those evaluate questions are typically asking you to make some kind of judgment. And so this one here, evaluate the usefulness of the HDI. And because HDI there, that abbreviation is in brackets as part of the question, you can use that as part of your answer. But the evaluation of the HDI in providing a measure of the level of human development in countries such as Papua New Guinea compared to Australia. So obviously you've got the stimulus there about Australia and Papua New Guinea. So you can see Australia's HDI is much higher than Papua New Guinea. So you should be thinking about what part of the course this relates to. So this is obviously Unit 4 Area Study 1. And what were the things that you learned about, okay, the HDI when you covered that in class? So hopefully you remember that you were looking at things like advantages and limitations. So if a question like this was to pop up and you're thinking about learning that in class, I'd be thinking, can I be incorporating some of those advantages and limitations as part of my evaluation of the usefulness of the HDI? But then obviously you need to make it relevant, okay, for Australia versus Papua New Guinea. So we'll have a look at a sample response in a moment. Just a reminder, there's still a couple of opportunities if you'd like to head to these HHD exam revision sessions that I'm running for ACE this year. So there's one on the 5th of October and another on the 15th of October. They're both running online, so you can join from anywhere in the state. So if you head to book.acevc.com, you'll see you can combine a ticket to the revision lecture with the revision question book as well that I've worked on, that's got over 500 marks worth of practice questions for all of the different areas in Unit 3 and 4 HHD. So if you head there, you can order a copy of that as well. In these sessions, I'll be going through Section A and B exam advice and strategies, as well as covering the key concepts. Unit 3 and 4 HHD will hopefully be a good refresher for your revision and exam preparation. Okay, so this is just one suggested sample answer. As I said before, there's lots of different ways that this particular style of question could be answered, but hopefully you'll see here there's an incorporation, okay, of some of those advantages and limitations of the HDI, and that linked in into Australia and Papua New Guinea. So you can see that it starts by saying the HDI combines the four indicators to produce that single statistic that allows for comparisons in level of human development between countries, and that using this composite statistic can be easier than comparing each individual indicator for a country on their own. And then it mentions Australia's and Papua New Guinea's HDI value. However, there's likely to be differing abilities of Australian PNG to accurately collect and report data on the HDI indicators, which obviously contribute to that overall value. And that governments of countries such as PNG could have less funding to dedicate towards accurate collection and reporting of HDI indicator data, such as life expectancy at birth. Therefore, the value for PNG may be less useful than Australia's value when reflecting true levels of human development. It goes on to say that in addition to this, in PNG, there's likely to be wider disparities in the standards of living and uneven access to services such as healthcare compared to Australia. And so, given the HDI indicators are averages, these are less likely to reflect the typical individual in PNG, and therefore the usefulness of the HDI in providing a measure of level of human development in a country is likely to be more accurate in a country such as Australia compared to PNG. So hopefully you'll see there the way some of those advantages and limitations have been weaved into this answer, but also made relevant to the stimulus material about Australia and Papua New Guinea. And so that gives, I guess, a sense of making that evaluation that the question was asking for, but making sure that you're also doing that comparison, and linking into being able to measure those levels of human development in Australia versus Papua New Guinea. Okay, hopefully you found this useful. Just a reminder, you can also head to our website there, the hh.net.au, if you're after those course notes or practice questions. Thanks so much.